Organizational meeting of the School District of Indian River County. We call this meeting to order at noon. First order of business, if we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Fagan, since it's Ron Fagan Day, why don't you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will be facilitating or serving as chair for the first part of this meeting. I have two responsibilities: facilitate the election of the chair, and then facilitate the election of the vice chair. Once those two responsibilities have been met, I will then pass the gavel over to the chair, who will facilitate the remainder of this meeting. So our first item on the agenda is the selection of the school board member who will serve as chair for the upcoming school year. And at this time, I'll open up the floor for any nomination.
I would like to nominate Jackie Rosario.
Wait. Mr. Barefoot, you were first.
Okay.
I nominate Terry Barenborg.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Terry Barenborg is on the floor. Ms. Barenborg, are you willing to serve as chair?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 3 ayes, all opposed.
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 Motion carries 3-2. Ms. Barenborg will serve as our chair. Our next item of business is to elect a vice chair.
I make
The-
a motion for Dr. Posca.
Ms. Rosario, you have the floor, and you recognize Mr. Posca. Thank you. Do I have a second? Hearing none, we'll open up the nominations again for vice chair. Ms. Barenborg.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Peggy Jones.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed.
Nay.
Okay. Dr. Jones, you will serve as the vice chair. Thank you very much for allowing me to facilitate this part of the meeting, and I'm going to take the podium or the gavel and give it to Ms. Barenborg. And congratulations or condolences. Whichever is the most appropriate.
All right. So you left it, the script, this is what you said, right?
Yes. You have everything else, right?
I'm sorry?
You have everything?
I think so.
Yeah, all right. No.
Okay. All right, so we are on to item number 3, approval of regular meetings of the school board. A, amended, approval of business meeting dates and time. Presently, the practice is to hold one monthly meeting. The regular business meeting is generally held the fourth Monday of each month at 6 p.m. The board is able to schedule meetings as it determines necessary. A list of specific meeting dates for January 2024 through December 2024 is attached. And that was amended correctly? Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Everyone had a chance to see the amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll call for a motion to establish meeting dates and times for the year.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Barefoot,
Second.
Dr. Jones. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario, you were recognized.
So I was looking at the calendar, and I just thought it would be important for us to have discussion, now that we have a different attorney. The reason why we chose Mondays when we did was because our attorney at the time wasn't able to attend our Tuesday meetings. And that's one of the reasons why we changed it to Monday. So I just thought we'd open it up to discussion as to whether we want to keep it as is or return to the way that it was before. Of course, whatever is, I don't know, our attorney's schedule, of course, and so that's what the discussion would be. In addition to that, I was also looking at the schedule. We have 5 meetings a month, or 5 months, where we have 2 meetings per those 5 months. We'll have a workshop and we have a business meeting, which is appropriate. And then all the other months, we have combined either workshop and business meeting together for one time per month because of whatever might happen. You know, some January, you know, holidays, Thanksgiving month, that sort of thing. So of course, I know where I'm leaning. I just thought it would be pertinent, this is the opportunity for us to be able to discuss moving forward whether we want to have just one day a month where we have workshop during the day and business meeting, and make it a long day. I don't like that, but I do think that it is fair to at least have all of us have the option of discussing it again. I don't like waiting 30 days before we all meet and do the work of the board. I do see the benefit of having a workshop 2 weeks before the business meeting, because if there is anything that we do discuss, we can actually wait for the 2 weeks for it to come back to us for a vote, rather than waiting 30 days. But on the other hand, I do see where we are and how we have been functioning. So anyway, so I just wanted to bring that up so that we could have a good discussion about it and hear where you all stand on that.
Okay. We have discussion right now. Did you want to make a motion for that?
No, just a
Okay.
discussion.
All right, Mr. Barefoot.
One, I'm in favor of keeping it Mondays. I think this board, there's no new people to the board, so I think our schedules, I assume our schedule's pretty well been set up for Mondays. At least in my case, it has. And I'm frankly ambivalent as to whether we do try and split it. Second Monday of the month is workshop, last Monday of the month is a business meeting, or we do it all on the same day. I think Mrs. Rosario is correct, there is a benefit. Workshop and then have a couple of weeks to ponder whatever the discussion was before we come back and address it perhaps in a formal vote, or to continue the discussion if appropriate. But I'm ambivalent, whatever the group as a whole works for them, works for me.
Anyone else? Dr. Jones, you're recognized.
Mr. Ansbacher, does Monday work for you, or what is your schedule like with, if we made changes?
Through the chair, Mondays generally work. It is the same day as the business meetings of the City of St. Augustine, and I'll have meetings there from time to time, but we'll figure that out. Tuesdays, the same day as the meetings of the St. Johns County School Board. Frankly, 60-40, Monday is slightly easier for me, but quite frankly, because we have some depth for both, I could make either work, whatever is the will of the board. And just as an aside, it really, because I don't bill you my travel time, also 6 of one, half a dozen as far as whether you all were to have 1 or 2 days for meetings and workshops.
I understand the discussion. Right now, I'm okay with this, and I do think that if we definitely needed a meeting to discuss, I think this board could come together and work together to get that scheduled. So right now, I'm okay with this.
Okay, Dr. Posca?
Got nothing to add.
Okay. I'd like to speak. I would like to prefer to keep it on Mondays because I've rearranged my entire schedule from Tuesdays to Mondays. I teach, and I've got all my teaching schedule done for the year. So I would prefer to keep it on Mondays, just because, you know, I'd rather have some time. If we like to talk about changing it for next year, I'd offer having that discussion so that we can have a year to prepare, because I do schedule things out a year in advance, so I'd appreciate that. Ms. Rosario?
Yeah, I wanted to bring something else up as well, so I appreciate the discussion on this. I do want to recommend that we combine our July meeting We have two meetings. July 16th is the meeting to request to advertise for the trim notice, and then July 22nd is a superintendent workshop and a business meeting. The trim meeting starts at 11 a.m. We cannot change that date because of statute, but we can move our July meeting up to the 11th, the 22nd up to the 16th. I apologize. So this way we can have them all in one day. Why come in for just the 11 a.m. on the 16th when we can have the entire day, do the trim, the workshop, and the business meeting?
Dr. Moore, do you want to address that?
I concur. It's a very good idea.
Yeah, me too.
Question?
Too much, yes.
Mr. Fagan, with the 16th as a trim, and then the 22nd, we had the tentative budget public hearing, would you be ready for that on the 16th? Or
He won't.
He won't, but somebody else will.
somebody, I didn't know if the timeline there would work for the finance department.
The trim calendar, and let me
Okay.
check something real quick.
Okay, that's
All
fine.
right, thank you.
Did you mean the time, Dr. Jones?
Well, I was just thinking, the 22nd, the tentative budget, I know he does all the timelines as far as state statute, what they had to do.
Yeah, I think Dr. Jones has a good point here, because in other words, would the presentation, and I know you're looking that up, but would the presentation from 11 to 12 be enough time? Because if not, then maybe the trim notice could begin at 10 instead of 11.
Okay, through the chair. So within 24 days of July 1, you have to advertise. Currently, we're advertising board to approve on the 16th, and then we'll run those in the paper the following weekend to publicize for the first hearing. So I have up to 24 days in order to get your approval. The trouble is when you post it in the paper, you've got 3 to 5 days in which you must have your meeting.
Right.
So I can prove the trim as long as it's after the 16th and before the 24th, we should have the budget book and everything ready. It's just after you publicize, you have 3 to 5 days, you must have that meeting. And so that triggers the next meeting. Is it on a regular business meeting? Generally, you always have one meeting will not be on a non-regular day. You'll always have one of those because they don't fall that way.
But would 11 o'clock, between 11 and 12 be okay for you to present, or do you need it to start at 10?
No, ma'am, that would be fine. Timeline, that would be fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we're in agreement that we're going to try to make it one meeting in July on the 16th.
Yes.
So I need a motion.
The 16th or the 11th?
Wait, which date?
July 20, move July 22nd to the 16th. I'll make the
That's
motion.
trim meeting, right?
Yeah.
The 16th is
Hold
the
on one
trim
second.
meeting.
No, Mr. Fagan, what date do you need the meeting?
I knew there was a timeline there.
You have two things. One, you must get your approval to advertise.
Right.
Then we have to advertise. And then after that advertisement, you have 3 to 5 days in which to have the meeting.
Can we do the advertisement in June? June?
No, ma'am.
We can't have that meeting
No,
in June.
you must be done within 24 days starting July 1.
Oh, that's right.
So within 24 days, you must go to the pub, I must come to you and say, I need to advertise the trim information. Generally, it takes until about July 16th, 15th or so to get the information from DOE. That's why you can't have it any earlier. Later is better, but then that starts to push the tax collector in, because remember, we get to go first with all of our meetings. They've already asked us for our meetings. We've already given them our meetings because then we get to go first. If you try and change that after everybody has set their meetings, that creates a little bit of drama. So you must have that trim meeting, which generally that meeting or the tentative meeting is on a non-regular meeting. It just happens to be that way. After that is posted in the paper, then I have the first public hearing on July 22nd, which is basically 3 days after it is posted in the paper. You could move it up, you can move it back 2 days, but you have to stay within that 3 to 5 day window. So the first public hearing must be 3 to 5 days after you publish it in the paper.
So in other words, we need to keep it where it is.
Correct, because I believe the 22nd is a regular board meeting, yes? And so that's what I'm saying. Generally, always, one of them will be on a regular meeting and one of them will not. It's just the way it works.
So it's not a good idea to combine them then?
No.
You
Okay.
can't have it all in the one day,
No,
in
ma'am.
other words, that's the bottom
Okay.
line.
Okay. All right, any other discussion?
Good point.
Anyone like to amend the vote or amend the motion?
There wasn't a motion, so it doesn't matter.
I just asked, called for a motion before. Any, call for a motion then?
I'll second.
Who called the motion? I'm sorry.
No one
I
called
need
for
to
a
make,
motion.
I need someone to make the
I'll
motion.
move it.
Oh,
That
okay.
Motion
We
for
already
what?
had that. We had Mr. Barefoot called the motion. Dr. Jones seconded it. We had a discussion. Anyone want to amend it? Because I heard that conversation. We're good? Okay. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, it passes 5-0. Thank you. Approval of regular meetings of the school board, annual organization meeting. This is the approval of the meeting place. Meetings will be held at the J.A. Thompson Administrative Center at 6500 57th Street, Vero Beach, 32967, unless public interests can best be served by a meeting elsewhere. The room is the Joe N. Idlett Junior Teacher Education Center. I'll call for a motion for the meeting place.
I move approval of the meeting place here at the Joe and Islet Junior TEC.
Dr. Jones, second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Barefoot, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries 5-0. Official appointments by the chairman. Indian River County Commission Metropolitan Planning Organization, MPO, committee member and alternate for this voting position. Chairman must select a member and an alternate. Mr. Barefoot served last year, and Mrs. Rosario was the alternate. Are there any interested board members?
I would prefer to stay as alternate.
Okay.
And I'm happy to continue as the board representative.
Okay, any other board members interested? All right, so Mr. Barefoot and Ms. Rosario. I don't believe we vote on that, so congratulations. The member is Mr. Barefoot, the alternate is Ms. Rosario, okay? All right, next appointment is the Indian River County Commission's Economic Development Council, EDC, committee member and an alternate for this 4-year voting position. Duties include attending monthly meetings on the third Tuesday of the month at 3:30 p.m. in Conference Room B1501. The appointments are for 4 years. They're for 4 years. So why do we have to vote on this if they're 4 years? Are you willing to continue, I guess is the question. Dr. Jones, you're the primary, and Mrs. Rosario is the alternate.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So Jones, Rosario. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for serving. Indian River County Planning and Zoning Commission with an alternate for this 4-year non-voting position. Commission meets on the second and fourth Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. in County Commission Chambers, Building A. During November and December, they meet only on the second Thursday of the month. The appointments are for 4 years, so this is a willing to serve again. I've been serving on that. Dr. Posca was the alternate. Dr. Posca, did you ever attend any of those? I'm just curious. Okay, I think I either could attend, or on the ones I couldn't attend, it was because of a conflict with the school district. With that, since it's non-voting position, I didn't have Dorian contact you. Would you like to go on the ones where I have a conflict, I go to a school board event?
You're happy to send me the information, I think.
I can't send it to you, but
Yeah.
I'll let Dorian know that I'm not going, and then she can relay that to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Because it's
that's-
not a voting position, so it's more about,
Yeah, I think it's the point of the alternate, though, is to get notified if you can't go, right?
right, okay. All right, congratulations. City of Vero Beach Planning and Zoning Commission, non-voting position. The commission meets first and third Thursdays of the month at 1:30 in City Hall. Last year, Mr. Barefoot served. Mr. Barefoot, are you willing to serve again? Or
No.
is anyone else willing to serve?
No.
Okay. Who would like to attend the City of Vero Beach Planning and Zoning Commission non-voting position?
I would like to do that. I've done Felsmer for many years, so I could switch that. I love Felsmer, but I'd like to try something new.
Okay, anyone else? All right, Dr. Jones,
I
congratulations.
would tell you, half the meetings get canceled anyways.
Okay. Felsmer is pretty consistent.
Half the meetings of the county get canceled as well. All right, the City of Sebastian Planning and Zoning Commission, 3-year term, non-voting position. The commission meets the first and third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. in City Hall as needed. Positions begin on the first meeting after the city votes on the new member. This is a 3-year term position. Last year, Dr. Posca served this first year. This 3-year position, and Dr. Posca, do you want to continue serving?
If anyone else has interest, I'm happy to let them do it. If not, I can do that.
Anyone else have interest? Okay, it's all yours. Congratulations. All right, City of Fellsmere, Planning and Zoning, non-voting position. The commission meets the first Wednesday of the month at 5:05 PM in City Council chambers. Dr. Jones served last year. Dr. Jones, you mentioned that you are switching to Vero Beach, so is
Yeah, I
anybody
did
willing to
Fellsmere 3
do
years.
Fellsmere?
And I always did it with teams, and it worked very well, so the travel.
Yeah, because I met with them before you took it. I went all the way up there and met with them, and they were a wonderful
Oh.
group.
Really good meetings. Yes, ma'am.
Anyone willing to take Fellsmere? It's on Teams. Would you like to do that, Mr. Rosario?
I can't do the time.
I can't, yeah, that time is a conflict for me, too. Is there anybody else?
I'll do backup. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Well, it's not backup, it's
I'll do
the-
it.
All right.
Yep, yep. They know me.
All right, thank you, Dr. Jones. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. City of Indian River Shores, Planning and Zoning Commission, one-year non-voting position. May 2008 was the first year for this appointment. The commission meets on the second Monday of the month at 2 PM in City Hall as needed. Mr. Barefoot has served the last 2 years. Anyone else interested, or Mr. Barefoot, would you like to continue?
I can continue.
Anyone else? All right, congratulations. Appointment to the I'm on H, sorry, Dorian, I'm flying. Appointment to the County Commission's Value Adjustment Board, VAB, one committee member and one alternate for this voting position. The committee meets each year as needed, so it's a yearly, once-a-year commitment. The appointment will be effective upon approval by the County Commission. Last year, Mrs. Rosario was reappointed as committee member, and Dr. Jones served as the alternate. Last year, Mrs. Rosario reappointed as committee member, and Dr. Jones as the alternate. Mrs. Rosario, or anyone else interested?
Yes.
And I'll do alternate.
Okay.
I like that one.
So Mrs. Rosario is the member, Dr. Jones is the alternate. Congratulations. All right, I, Treasure Coast Council of Local Governments Incorporated, committee member. The committee meets on the first Wednesday of the month at 10 a.m. in St. Lucie County's Administration Building. I have served for the last several years. I'm willing to serve again, but if there's somebody that would like to serve, you drive down to St. Lucie, and it's once a month, first Wednesday of the month, but it's a good group of people, if anybody'd like to serve. Otherwise, I'll continue.
Good.
Anybody want to? All right, I'll take that one. Congratulations to me. J, Executive Roundtable, committee member for this voting position. One board member will be appointed to serve on the Executive Roundtable. The committee meets the last Thursday of each month at 9 a.m. in the United Way building. Last year, Dr. Jones and Mrs. Rosario shared the position served. All right, is someone interested in being the member this year?
I will do it.
You'll do it? Okay. It doesn't ask for an alternate. So congratulations, Dr. Jones.
Thank you.
All right, we are on 5A, appointment as District School Board's Legislative Liaison for this non-voting position. Legislative Liaison position was established by the District School Board on 11/22/2011. This position requires extensive knowledge of the local, state, and federal issues. Last year, Mrs. Barrenborg stayed on as the District School Board's Legislative Liaison. Are there any other interested board members?
I would love to do it.
I'm going to ask to continue to do it, and the reason why is because, as I brought up in September, FSBA had the advocacy position. They asked that the advocacy position be the same person as the legislative liaison. And since I was appointed as advocacy in September, I'd like to take this one.
FSBA doesn't guide what we do, though.
I understand,
So,
but I think it's important because I've been to the meetings, and when you go to the meetings up there in Tallahassee, they want that same person in the seat to vote.
That's fine, but I don't want us to make decisions based on FSBA.
I'm not
We
saying
need to
that's
make
your
decisions based
decision.
on
Sure.
our needs,
Sure.
not FSBA's needs.
Yep. I'd like to take the appointment again. Do you want to serve as alternate?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll do that.
It doesn't call for an alternate, but we'll make you the alternate on that. If I can't go, I'll let Ms. Maureen know. All right, 5B, appointment to the District Objection Committee.
Let's go back to that for a second, just
Sure.
to be clear, not alternate on FSBA, alternate on this.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is. But it is an FSBA,
No, we've always had a
Aligned.
legislative liaison.
Right, right. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
But the
This is,
legislative liaison also attends the FSBA legislative liaison meetings.
we have just recently adopted that practice, but that's not what this position has historically been. This
Okay.
position has historically been our own school board member would be our own legislative liaison, separate and apart from FSBA. We only became members of FSBA a few years ago. And we've had this position for long before that. So I don't want us to get tied up with one has to attend another outside organization. What you have chosen to do is your choice.
Okay.
But this position is a position for the school board members to advocate for school board issues.
Right. So there's a 3-day legislative liaison gathering. FSBA puts it on. It's in Tallahassee. They arrange for us to meet with legislators. They have really great speakers that come in and work with the legislative liaisons to talk about what bills are coming up, what is imminent, what your board needs to get on, what you need to stress and push for agendas that are up there in Tallahassee. I feel like the value of that is extremely high, and I have attended every year that I've done it. So I will continue to attend that on behalf of the board as a legislative liaison. If I can't go, then Ms. Rosario, you are more than welcome to either attend or not.
Very good.
Okay, let's move on. 5B, appointment to the District Objection Committee. The committee will consist of a membership, a selection of members. The committee shall be comprised of the following 11 voting members: 1 media center specialist coordinator or school district employee who holds a valid educational media certificate; 5 parents of a child enrolled in a district-operated school appointed by each school board member. Parents selected for the committee may not be employed by the school district. 2 classroom teachers, 2 instructional coaches, 1 school-based administrator. At the first convened meeting, members will select an individual to chair each meeting. The primary role of the chair will be to facilitate discourse in accordance with the procedures outlined below. Member qualifications. Each parent appointed to serve on the committee must have a child enrolled in the school district. The petitioner cannot serve as a voting member, and members should not consist of elected officials or candidates for elected offices. Second is term of service. All right, so it doesn't say whether or not we vote, we just say a name, correct? Ms. Morey, is that what we're looking for? Okay, so each board member, let's go by district. So District 1, who is your appointee?
Christy Tankersley Maledo.
So same person as before?
Correct.
Okay. District 2,
Laura Zork?
okay. District 3,
Yeah, it's wrong on that information. It's Katie Carr Max. The other name was, in case Katie couldn't do it, but it's Katie Carr Max.
okay. District 4, LaDonna Corbin. And District 5,
Laura Torres. Continues.
okay. And mine continues as well.
Mine is continuing, yeah.
Okay. All of them are continued, correct?
I believe
Was
so.
Laura's work on it last time? Yes. Okay. All right. There we go. Number 6, County School Board Planning Elected Officials Oversight Committee. Membership bylaws require that the chairman of the school board hold this position. The committee meets annually in June. I have to read the public content. I don't see the public content. Excuse me 1 second, see if I can find it.
That was it? You just read it.
That's all I have to say?
You're the person.
Oh, public content. All right, congratulations. All right. 7A, adjournment. This meeting is adjourned unless there is an objection. Okay? I'll call it adjourned at 12:30.